What's up, Wholesale Nation? I'm Undrea King.
And I'm Andy Speed.
And welcome to the Wholesale Nation Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, this is the podcast where we teach you everything you need to know about wholesaling and how to get started in the wholesale business and growing it. And also, we are the owners of Drayco Properties, a nationwide wholesale company. So if you're looking to move any properties, hit us up at offers@draycoproperties.com. And also, we need your help. If you like what you hear today, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and leave us a review. With that said, if you guys can see, we have some amazing guests in the studio with us today. So I wanted to jump right into it. We have Mr. Geary from Arizona and also Phoenix, Arizona, I guess to be exact. And then also we have Sylvester Hagan from Phoenix, Arizona. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us, guys. As always, man, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, I guess
absolute pleasure.
I guess it's welcome back to the show.
Welcome back,
right? Yeah. So welcome back, welcome back. So nobody remembers that
Round
but me.
two.
I think I remember that one. Was that Mace?
Yeah,
That's old school.
It was Mace, then it went back further than that. So I won't age myself with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, but so Corey was on the show, episode 15. So if you guys want to hear, how he got started and all that good stuff, check out episode 15. He was on the show like a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah, about a year and a half
right.
ago. Yeah.
A lot of things have changed since then. So we'll kind of pick up from there. Like, what are you doing now and all that good stuff. Andy, you had anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, my brain's fried from last night. I'm still a little tired.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, how about you, get us started?
Yeah, it's hard to say what's changed because we talk so much. I mean, we talk pretty often. I'm always seeing you online as well. Glad you finally made it back to Houston. I know you were supposed to come, but COVID kind of screwed that back in, April?
It did.
Mm-hmm. But 6 months later, you're here. Definitely excited that you're here. Looking forward to going out tonight as well.
Yeah. I love Houston. There's a lot of you guys out here who I relate with. I come out here and talk shop with you guys. I mean, it's an amazing experience every time I come, man.
Right.
Houston it's nothing but love, man.
Right.
Nothing but love. So.
And you guys are from a great city also. I think that, we've tried to model that where everyone's like working together and partying together and things like that. Houston has been kind of hard to get that going, but that's one of the things we've been trying to work on also, picking it up from you guys.
Yeah, Phoenix is definitely they call it the guru capital of the world, right? Or as far as wholesaling is, we have everyone there, including Mr. Sean Terry.
Right.
It's just what it is, and the competition there is incredible. But also the networking and just, talking to people and mindset and business strategies, it's excellent.
Right.
So that's the thing with Phoenix,
Okay, perfect. So last time you were on the show, you were on here by yourself, right?
That's right.
Today we have Sylvester on here as well. So, if you want to tell us, you guys want to tell us, like, Sylvester, who you are and how you got started, with working with Corey and, where you're at right now as well.
Yeah, well, so I'm Sylvester Hagan. Long story short, in college, I started a company or a business where I was doing financial planning, selling life insurance, things of that nature. It was great. Moved it out to Scottsdale, and I realized, this is not the life for me. I wanted something that was exciting, and I was, crazy about real estate. And, I will always tell people, one day I'm going to get into real estate, flip houses, something in some shape or form. And then I was at the office one day. I was like, I'm not happy with what I'm doing. I don't feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. So I said, you know what? I've been watching these videos about wholesaling and real estate. I said, I'm going to shut my business down tonight, and I'm going to figure it out some way. And I went online that night. I was like, real estate meetups. I think it was Eventbrite or something like that I went to. Yeah. And it was Chris Iman's event.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm the only person that showed up in a suit. And I'm like, I don't know. I come from that world. Everyone wears a suit.
T-shirts.
And he's T-shirts. So I'm like, wait, am I at the right place?
Yeah, I may have overdressed.
Right, overdressed in Phoenix. It was hot, right? So, I'm there asking questions, meeting people, and I bump into Corey. And this is the next day, right? And my whole life had stopped. I'm like, I got to figure it out. And I meet Corey the next day and come out of the office, and we've been running together ever since. So I was like, what? God wanted this for me. Because most things just don't work out that way. You know what I'm saying? It was just meant to be. So ever since then, I've been running with it. When I first started, obviously I knew nothing about real estate. I knew wholesaling from a video, right?
Right.
Just like everyone else, everyone's watched Max Maxwell, TTP, Sean Terry, and that was just my base level. So I came in as a cold caller. So I would sit there for 6 hours, however long he needed me, because I was driving almost an hour to work.
Wow.
Because I was in North Scottsdale and Cave Creek. So I was driving 45 minutes, and I was cold calling like a mofo for $12 an hour, but I wanted it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't care what it takes. I was like, Corey, just show me what to do, what I got to do. So I became better at that. And I'd been so used to having high-level conversations or just uncomfortable conversations. Like when you're selling life insurance, you talk about death.
Right.
You talk about all these certain things that people put off, they put on paper, and it's like you can't get instant gratification from it, right? So like a flip, that's 3 months, 6 months, whatever. But retirement planning, that's a lifetime. So you have to somehow make someone understand the value you're bringing and that you should only go to this person, right?
Right.
Because you can throw a rock at a wholesaler just like you can someone who sells insurance, right? But obviously that wasn't fulfilling for me, but I've been so used to having conversations, and I built a virtual business, not knowingly,
Right.
with the insurance and financial planning. So I got used to talking on the phones, and this just elevated it, being with Corey, all the training we did, things of that nature. And then one day we were just like chatting, it's like, because we didn't have a dispo side of the business.
I was dispo.
Yeah, he was dispo, but like, I mean, did we have a dispo side, right? Like we were going to, different people who had dispo businesses, like, Keegley, different names like that. So we were, obviously losing money. So he was like, you want to do dispo? I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
The cold call anymore? Hell yeah.
How long were you cold calling before you switched over?
Cold calling for, I would say about 6 months.
Okay. 6 months, and you went straight to dispo.
Straight to dispo.
Okay.
And just ran with it, man. And the biggest thing about us, and I think we can thank a lot of people for this, like Jamil, and a lot of other people, like they would come to the office and they would like pour into us and legit help us, right?
Right.
So like, with our business, like we have a really big JV side now, and that's been the main focus. It's like a lot of those people, what I try to do, I make sure they come out of the office, meet us face to face, know our characters, see that we're busy, and that, we're in here, we're really doing the business, right? And that they trust us, right? Because a lot of times it's like, you can get a call from anyone and you don't know they're doing the business. They say they're doing deals, but they know we're doing deals and we perform. So these people come back. So we've created great relationships with them. And all we do is say, hey, what do you want? What do you want in that? And then from there, we just take care of it. We get them exactly what they want, and we're able to move the property and help the sellers and obviously scale that side of the company.
Right.
And we've done really good at that. And now that's a huge part of our business. Not only in Arizona, but we're starting to JV in other states too.
Right.
And help those wholesalers out. So it's been great. And the biggest thing is like for me, like I love studying different markets. Like I just think, I don't know what it is, but it's so fascinating. Like leading up to come to Austin, I was looking at houses for sale for 2 weeks. I was like, I just want to know. So I got some shit to talk about with Nick Perry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so like things like that you have to do. You kind of got to be like a little obsessed with it. To get to that point where you can build a business like that on the side of a business, right? The dispo side is a totally different business. JV side is a totally different business than the actual dispo side of the business, right? So that's just where we are now, basically, and that's all happened, man. I mean, ever since day one, you know what I'm saying? Like Corey's met my family and all type of stuff now, but it's been a great ride, and we've just one thing about Corey is like, you're not going to meet many Coreys or many, Andys and Andres that are, people of abundance. Because in this business, there's not people like that, in any businesses, right? Everybody wants money, things like that. That's great.
Yeah.
If that's your business model, be a coach, do all those things. But with our team, there's not a limit on what we're allowed to do, what we can do. So like everyone's going to grow, right? It's not just one person. So I think that's probably why, like, as a team, like we've had very few people leave, you know what I'm saying? Especially on their own. No one's left on their own. If someone's left, it's because it was time to go, right? So I think that's what's unique about us and about our team.
Perfect. So a lot to unpack there, right?
Yeah, a lot. I told you I was ready to go, man.
He was ready. All right. So let's back it up a little bit, right?
Okay,
so
right.
We're gonna take a look at. Okay. So last time, Corey, you were on. The episode was from blackjack dealer to master cold caller, right? I think you were doing 6 deals or so a month at the time.
6 to 8 a month or something to that nature, yeah.
Right. And so, tell us from that point, let's talk about what where your business has progressed to and, what the changes that you've made since then.
That's wow.
You want another mouthful?
Yeah. So when I was here last time, man, I was running a call floor out of my house. I
remember that.
Yeah, they would come in every day, and they'd clock in, and they were cold calling right out of my house. So we did away with that. So I don't have a call floor in my house. So all my cold callers now are out of Ecuador. We've transitioned a lot of the company to online. So PPC is where we're at now. And we grew that into 9 different states. Wow. And
last time were you nationwide then?
No,
you
I
were just
was
local?
only Arizona specific and mainly probably Phoenix specific, and occasionally, pop a deal here and there, maybe in Tucson or some of the outer cities.
Right. So you were buying over the phone. You weren't going to appointments, not
correct.
At that point.
Yeah, I was
but
virtual.
you were virtual, but just kind of in your market still at
correct,
that point. Right.
Correct. So now we've grown the model to nationwide and online.
So why do that though? Why go nationwide when you can stay in your own market?
A couple reasons. So obviously in Phoenix, we're highly competitive, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't. We do a lot of deals in Phoenix,
right?
A lot of deals, but it's highly competitive. So for us to grow and really scale the business, we have to go into other markets,
right?
And we've already got the virtual model going on in Phoenix, so now why not take that and grow it into different states? And I think it was. Andy was one of the ones that recommended that last time we had met. He's like, man, you're already virtual. Why aren't you not going out? And I mean, you don't go to appointments. You don't, start growing that. And that was it, man. So it's just the scalability,
right,
is what it does for you,
right? But how do you get past that fear? Because I remember last time you were making decisions based on.
You never get past the fear.
Yeah. Do I have a wholesaler there? Do I have like a JV relationship with somebody there who can sell my property?
We're always scared shitless, man. I mean, every market we go into, the first thing you do is you're gonna F up the first month or two.
Right.
I mean, one of our first virtual markets was Ohio, and man, that was a shit show for a good couple months. Then we came to Texas. That was a shit show. We put up 4 or 5 deals on whiteboard. Boom, it all cancel. Cancel contract because we didn't know what we're doing. We're locking them up too high. We couldn't get the buyers in place. It's been a very hard learning curve for us. Very difficult. But with a lot of people's help, like Sean Terry, Nick Perry, these people, I'm masterminding them all the time. Hey, man, how do we fix this problem?
Right.
That's total. I mean, it's not been easy.
Right.
And you're going to be scared, and you're going to F up.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. And so
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
So you can do. I mean, if you're starting on this business, if you're listening, starting out, you're going to screw up, right? You just heard Corey say you're going to screw up. Yeah. Just
no
do
matter
it.
what.
No matter what.
There's no reason to take 6 months to learn and get your master's in wholesaling.
Yeah.
Just start.
Yeah.
You're going to screw up no matter what. You're going to learn. It's trial by fire no matter what.
Right. It's trial by fire.
So there's one other thing that you've done recently that also our newer wholesalers and maybe even experience could benefit from. You guys pushed all the way through COVID. You never shut down. You never
shut down, and actually the whole team got COVID.
Yeah.
All of us. We all got COVID. I mean,
so everybody
you got COVID. You got COVID.
Yeah. We're like, let's just get this over with.
Right. Eve came in. Eve's one of my acquisition managers. She came in. She got COVID from church, and she was sick as a dog. And literally that day, the whole team got it. There was there's 7 of us, or maybe it was 8 of us at the time on the team. Yeah. We all. And the whole business was shut down for a whole month. We were all pretty much bedridden except for Josh. Josh was like he's 23 years old. It affected him for 2 days. He's like, I'm good. When are we working again? But all of us we were down. And the shitty part of the whole thing is that you know, when you're down and you're running a business, when you get back to business, you got to front load marketing, labor costs. So we ran deep in the red for 2 months because of that. Before we actually cut, because when we had closings again, it's like we lost all that momentum.
Yeah, but you open right back up.
But we picked back up because I had, you know, you got to have reserves, right? You know, one of my biggest mentors tells me all the time, man, you need to have 6 months reserves. You got 6 months. So I try to keep that. You know, I try. It doesn't always happen, you know, because we get too, you know, ahead of ourselves on spending. But we try to keep at least 6 months reserves, and that was how we were able to like bounce back. And you know, now we're back in the green again. We had an amazing month last month. We're gonna have an amazing month this month.
Best month ever this month.
But man, it was shitty when we all got COVID. I mean, and what are you gonna do? I'm blessed and happy that none of my team, you know, none of them passed. None of them even got hospitalized. Right? They all bounced back. They're all healthy. They're all good. They're all back in the office now, and you know, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, and that's amazing because there's a lot of people, we talked about it before, that they just folded up and just sat down, right?
A lot of people.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. They didn't do any work.
A lot of businesses in every aspect has folded up and just closed their doors.
Right. Yeah, we see that in our office building, right? We see
our
people,
office is pretty open.
We start seeing people start leaving in our office building, the same thing. But so now going back again for like the new wholesalers, right? So let's say that they're wanting to go and start going virtual, right? And other markets, not just in their market. What would you say it would be the 2 to 3 things they would need to do to be successful? Because I know you said when you first started, you went out there, you got deals on the contract, but then they all just kind of fell off. Like, what would they need to do to prevent that from happening?
You're not going to prevent it from happening. You're going to learn, like Andy said, trial by fire. You're going to just have to F up playing in that market, and you're going to learn. You will learn because you're going to contract deals, and you're going to talk to a lot of buyers, right? Yeah. And be like, oh no, man, on that road, all the houses are like that. You're just going to learn by experience,
right?
And that's the only way you really can get through it. And I mean, even some of the bigger dogs who are playing in 30, 40 states, they're telling me all the time, you're never going to know 100%. And you just got to know that. But you'll start to learn. You'll start to learn, you know, right. You know, like, for example, in Ohio, you know, he's from Ohio. So that's why we picked, that was one of the first states we picked to go to virtually. So I was like, you know, he knows certain, he knows on this street's the hood and this, you know. So it's the only way you're going to learn, man, just by playing in it.
Right.
I can't. And maybe by leaning on other wholesalers who play in that market and who are doing deals.
Right.
That's the only way.
I think that's an interesting tip. I think you do need to call people that know the market, because we did a show called Know the Market, or 3 things you need to know, or something like that. One of them is knowing the market, because it's those little tidbits, like for us in Houston, like you'll call me and say, hey, what about this area? It's like, yeah, you'll think the value is this, but people aren't buying until it's down at like 20% of ARV.
Right.
There's things that you can never know. So yeah, leaning on local people, like Facebook groups, whatever. Like, how are you doing that now? How are you reaching out?
We're reaching out, man. I mean, we're big on social media. So, and it's between social media and masterminds is how I always say that one of the best things about this business that I've got, you know, I've received is I got friends all across the United States now. Really good friends, good relationships, like you guys here in Houston. I mean, it's amazing. And that is the key, man, is knowing people all across the United States. And then I know somebody in almost every state where where they're big wholesalers, you know what I mean? Or fix and flippers or whatever have you. And so that's between that, masterminding and social media, you're gonna grow.
Right.
You're going to grow it.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing you said is that you just have to do it, right? You get out there, and that's how you learn it. You know, we look at even from your local market, like, you know, we've been in our local market for, 5 years or so, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why we know that is because we've done deals, we've messed up, we've had deals go south, right? We've had deals go well.
The way you learn is from mistakes.
Yeah, and that's how you learn, right? And so you do that. Just across the nation also, right? You start getting properties. It's like, oh, this one falls off. Why did it fall off, right?
And we analyze every deal that falls off whiteboard. We analyze why. What can we do to prevent that next time?
Right.
You have to learn from every single, fallout or why, we have what's called entitled protocols now. And we have a spreadsheet made up with all these little protocols that we have to look at and cater to because we're learning from deals falling off whiteboard.
Right.
And we're like, why did it fall off? And then we notate it down. And then now as a company, we go, okay, well, let's not do that again.
Right.
You know, like, for example, every deal that's $20K or more, we memorandum.
Got you.
So you said it's an ITP?
ITP?
The checklist?
Yeah, it's one checklist that's when deals are in escrow, you got to follow all these rules.
Okay.
We have right now we're probably at 10 or 11 on there.
Yeah.
And it's all from analyzing deals that fell out of, escrow for some reason or another. And we're analyzing, why did that happen? Why did that happen?
Yeah.
Oh, we got snaked, or was it because we didn't memo, because a realtor was involved? I mean, there's always something. So
Right. And so last time you were doing about 6 deals a month. So what are you doing right now? You know,
we got 43 on whiteboard right now.
there you go. Right.
And so we did 27 deals last month. The month before that, we did 34 deals. So it's grown tremendously since the last
Right.
time.
And where have you? What would you say you've managed your fallout to now?
Local, our fallout's only about 20%. Nationwide, we're at 50, but we're constantly working on that. We're still learning and
Right.
how to prevent that. We want to get it up to around, only 30% would be ideal, right? You
Right.
know? So it's still a work in progress right now. It really is, and we want to grow the company to where we're like in 30 states.
Right.
We would love that. But yeah, and then that's one of the reasons for this trip was coming out and we visited our friend Nick Perry, saw his business and see what they're doing because he's nationwide. And just trying to prevent that fall. That's what we're focusing right now is preventing that fallout.
Right.
Yeah, and one thing I always do, and I don't know if Corey knows this or not, I always get an offer out of a buyer if he says no, especially if we're out of state, and I ask him why. Because we need to better understand.
The buyers educate you.
Right.
The buyers educate me a lot.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go back and be like, hey guys, this is where we need to be. So the buyer's saying, oh, of course it's what they're saying, but like, who's buying it, right? So we need to find out why. So I always make sure to get an offer out of them because there's times where it makes sense for the seller, for us to move forward with that.
Right.
But no matter what, I always try to get an offer and I just ask them why, so we can better understand, right? Because there's great places in some cities where it's like, man, it's so nice, and the next stoplight, you're like, where am I?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think Houston's like that.
Yeah, and that's in other places. So, like, when we get these deals and we're comping, we're like, man, this makes sense. But, like, we don't know those things.
Right.
Like, kind of crazy. We have a crazy lot deal in Augusta, Georgia right now. It's a good deal. But I was talking to a buyer, like, why did you pass on it? He was like, someone just got shot there last week.
Okay.
I was like, well, I guess that makes sense. Maybe no one wants to put new builds in the neighborhood.
Right.
It's not a nice area. So it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So different things like that you have to be aware of and just ask questions. Don't just go and think like,
Let your
we're
buyers
not
educate you, but be careful
Be
because
careful
they're still
too.
going to beat you up.
Yeah.
That's
why
that's a big one right there.
Yeah, and that's
They're
why I
still gonna
ask
beat you
all
up.
of them.
I mean-
You know what I'm saying? And it's not just when I go through all of them. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure, and just if there's commonalities, but it's just making sure that you understand that market because we get deals in like, in the middle of like Tennessee, somewhere in the Smokies. We don't know where
Right.
it's at. I'm never going out there.
Right.
I'm never going to see the neighborhood, but I can ask some people. Maybe we can get a good idea.
Right.
So,
So
things
let's
like
talk-
that helps us.
What is your top reason for fallout?
Top reason for fallout nationwide is because it's contracted at the wrong price because we don't want this in the market.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is for
That's ours as
nationwide.
well.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
ours as
Yep.
well.
And do you renegotiate or try to renegotiate?
We try
with
always.
the seller as well?
We have about a 50% success rate on renegotiations.
Right.
The other 50%, the homeowners.
And you try to get a number first and then go to the seller at that
Yep.
point. Okay, perfect. Okay. And then, so let's talk about that disposition process. So from acquisition standpoint, you guys are marketing PPC, multiple markets.
Heavy PPC.
Right? That's where most of your deals are going to be coming from,
Yep.
right? And then you go into disposition. Before we get into that, what does your team look like now? Because I know you've changed that quite a bit as well. What does your team look like now?
4 acquisitions, 2 dispositions, and one realtor that's on board, and then me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a team. Yeah. Am I missing anybody? I'm trying to think. No, I think it's
I
it.
think that's it. Oh, we just added Joe. Did you mention Joe?
Oh, Joanne.
Joanne.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's
kinda,
my new junior.
Yeah, she's a
I just
junior.
hired her
Wait a
like.
minute. We have a Joe.
I just literally hired her 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, like literally. Yeah, so like,
I literally hired her 2
yeah,
weeks ago.
You have to understand her position to understand better. But yeah, she's gonna do great.
She's a
and,
new junior
yeah.
act.
Right.
And we're trying to implement a junior act into the business where basically they're going through the graveyard leads and trying to dig up anything that's, has potential in it. So
Right.
Yeah, I was actually.
That sounds painful.
Who was I talking to? It was.
Sounds very
I think it was Nick Perry. Was it Nick Perry? I want to say it was Nick Perry's team. They have someone that does that.
Right.
And
They have
they just go
3
through
people that do
graveyard leads.
Yeah.
And they pulled a 170 pounder out of that, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was a 170 pounder.
Resurrected it.
Yeah. And
nice.
no one wants to make that call, but $170,000. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll make
that
that
just
call.
shows there's deals everywhere.
Yeah,
We
that
need
makes
to
You know
make
what I'm
that
saying?
call.
That makes you
so
wanna make the
adding
call.
that, that's just someone's value that can
It's
be
just,
added.
it's the old school, man.
Yeah.
Follow up is
Yeah,
everything.
follow-up is key.
Money's in the follow up, and you got to have some kind of system, some
Right.
processes in place. You got to follow up, because that's where the money's made in this business.
Right. So with the acquisition guys and the juniors, right? So the acquisition guys are locking your deals up. Once they're on a contract, so another issue that I think a lot of new wholesalers that are trying to go virtual is like, okay, how do I assess the property? How do I see it? So what do you guys do to get pictures and things like that? And who's getting those things for you?
Acts right now are getting pictures, so and they're using that for negotiations. So like they're going to give the homeowner, a bracket.
Right.
When they're talking and conversating with them, and the only way they can dial the true offering is by picks.
Okay.
And then that's what, and picks does determine really what the offer is, because then that's going to give us an idea what we can wholesale it for is by seeing it. So that's it. And as far as analyzing the deal, and this sounds stupid, but Zillow, bro.
Yeah.
Zillow in most
man.
markets.
When I said it, Andy looked at me like
like, you
sideways.
crazy,
Everyone
man.
hates
He looked at me.
Zillow.
Right.
Everyone hates Zillow, but Zillow's got a direct feed to the MLS, and you can see live comps
But
in
not
most
Zestimates.
markets.
Not Zestimates.
Don't use Zestimate. No,
No,
no, no,
no,
no.
We're
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
Zestimates. We're not
You
talking
don't want
about
to use an
Zestimates.
algorithm.
No.
You want
Yeah.
to use your own brain and look at, try to figure out what the value is. And some markets that don't work, like here in Texas, you guys got this non-disclosure crap that I hate.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I'm like,
Makes it very difficult to analyze deals, but most states are not that way, and you can just use Zillow and go in there and look at the comps. And what's great about Zillow is right on your phone, you pull it up, you have all the recent comps, and my acts can comp a property in most, like Phoenix, they can comp a property in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They pull it up, and they know the value
Yeah.
in 5 minutes by using Zillow.
Nice.
So if Zillow don't work, use another, third-party company like PropStream. There's no reason why you can't try to find a valuation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rely on realtors like you were saying last night, as far as like MLS, trying to get access. If you got a non-disclosure state you're doing deals in,
Right.
try to get some
Partner with
MLS
somebody.
access. Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about dispositions then. So you got them in, you've gotten the pictures done, you're getting ready to disposition these properties. A lot of these markets that you're in, you might not have like buyers there yet, or you're trying to build buyers. So how are y'all just, selling these properties?
Realtors.
All right. So realtors mainly who it goes to. So what does that process look like?
So first process is
protocols.
protocol. Yeah.
He screams at Josh. He screams out to Josh. He's like, Josh, protocols. It's like we're going, like jumping out of a plane. It sounds
Right.
like.
Yeah.
But essentially we are. Cause,
Protocols right
yeah.
now, and we're going to be switching some stuff up, but protocols right now is like, first we're pulling all the flippers in PropStream.
Yeah.
They're either realtors who represented flippers, or they're actually the flipper themselves.
Yeah.
And we're pulling out a PropStream, put them in Excel, and we're text blasting it. Then we're doing the first 8 pages of Realtor.com, people who represented buyers in that market. We're creating a spreadsheet and then text blasting them.
Right.
Okay, and then we have the nationwide realtor list that we bought from agent.list.com, whatever
Right.
it is.
Real estate agent.list.com.
Yeah, and then we're text blasting them. And then the last protocol is trying to find a JV partner in that market to work with, and then cash buyers. No, we also skip trace cash buyers,
Right.
and then text blast them. The difference now that we've learned just literally in the last few days is that the first phase of protocols, those those realtors that were pulling out a prop string, we need to be hand on those people.
Yeah.
And talking to them in person, right? Because those are your hottest leads as far as cash buyers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so what percentage are you selling in that phase 1? What percentage in phase 2?
Most of it goes through phase 1.
Yeah.
Which makes sense why we should be hand on them.
Yeah.
You know, because those are your hottest leads for your cash buyers. So we might get to phase 2, phase 3, but most of our deals, yeah, absolutely phase 1. And then, you know, a lot of times if it goose past phase 1, then it's like, shit, we're not gonna sell a deal.
Right.
We're like, all right, we're in trouble.
We're in trouble. Because those prop streams, flippers you pull, those are your hottest leads on cash buyers.
Yeah.
They really are.
So there's a tip right there,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to be able to sell a property, if you hadn't had prop stream, check it out. But it's really simple. Just one button, put in the area that you're looking for, hit the flippers button, and it'll pull up all the flippers, right? And the phone numbers are already there for the realtors.
Oh, yeah.
And the better option was to go to offers@drayco.com.
There you go.
DraycoProperties.com.
And send us the property, and then we'll figure it out
I think
for
that
you.
was the better. We'll click all those buttons.
We'll click it for you.
It's
like
interesting though. One thing that we've learned since going virtual, or one thing that's changed, our acquisition used to always be the one that was like getting beat up.
Yeah.
You know, dealing with failure, struggling with keeping going when things are hard, et cetera. Like they getting yelled at. And now our dispo's dealing with that as well. So it's interesting. Our dispo when we were in Houston, we didn't have any fallout. We had virtually no properties fall out in a 2.5, 3 year period that Undrea and I were
That's
working.
amazing.
That's
means you guys are buying deep.
yeah.
Well, we know the market, right? So we knew where we could sell it at. You know,
Right.
when I started, I was calling Undrea, hey, where can we sell this? Where can we sell this? Where can we sell this?
Right.
And I was trying to buy them too deep.
Yeah. You were
But now
losing
our
deals
dispo
because
is
you were too
failing.
deep. Yeah.
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 The only ones that we had fall out was because the seller got a higher offer. I mean, it seemed like for 3 years, that was the only reason why we ever had something fall out.
Wow.
Now it's the opposite. How are you handling the morale in the office with the failure?
Yeah.
I mean, 50% fallout rates, it's not a small amount.
Right.
I mean, when you're doing 34 contracts, 17 remaining is still phenomenal.
Right.
And it's nothing to get upset about, but that.
And it could be.
I mean, that's 17 conversations that acquisitions had with a seller saying, I can't buy your house.
And you got to look at dispositions also, because dispositions could be having those conversations as well, and they do all the work, and then they don't sell.
That's what I was saying at first.
It's
That's
tired
new
of
to
being
us.
spun without any It's difficult, and that's the learning curve because our goal ultimately is to get to 70% of closed deals, 30% fall off rate, and that's why we're on this trip right now is trying to learn how to prevent that because the morale like in acquisitions. Yeah, it's horrible because they went from like when we're local, especially like my lead act, she's used to like 80-90% of all deals closing, and now like 50% are only closing, and it's tough for her.
Right. Yeah, those can be tough conversations to have with the seller.
Oh, it's absolutely
hey,
tough.
I'm sorry I gave you my word, but I lied.
By the way, obviously we always go in for a price correction first. Yeah. And try to educate the seller why, and then if it doesn't happen, then it's, well, we got to cancel.
Right. And I think it's a good thing to remember when I was telling like our disposition or our sales as well, is that most of the time the seller already knows, right? The seller was like, "You going to buy this at this price? Sure." You know? But they kind of knew that you were way high, right? And they were like, "Man, if he buys it, it's golden."
And a lot of times sellers are hiding shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Our buyers go out
That's
and they're
the
like,
thing.
they tell us stuff. And I'm like, you need to call the seller back and tell them this is why we need to get this. There's always something going on.
Yeah, or they give you pictures from like 2-3 years ago or something like that.
It's always
like, fresh.
It's always a learning experience, just like Corey mentioned earlier. We analyze why every deal falls out.
Yeah.
And I think when people are disappointed, especially in sales, that's why they create metrics so people understand why, right?
Try to learn from every mistake.
Learn from every mistake and understand why, and then go out and fix it the next time.
And that's going to go on
That's the
forever.
biggest thing,
We're always going to be learning.
Always,
Why this deal fell. We're not going to be masters of any market, really. Not true masters. I mean, we can get close to our market because we're from there.
Right.
But you need to learn from every single mistake. Why did it fall off whiteboard? Why did this now? And analyze and go, okay, what can we do next time to try to prevent this from happening? And you make it a protocol, you make it a rule, and you're okay, we got to do this and try to, whatever it may be.
Right.
So that's been the biggest key of trying to learn how this nationwide, wholesaling is just keep learning and then lean on people who are already doing it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh my
That's it.
God.
And that's one of the things I want
Man.
to talk about. So what do you see yourself in the next year and a half with your business now?
30 states.
30 states. Perfect.
30 states
Yeah.
for sure. 30 states, 500 a month gross
I like that.
with a 30% profit margin.
He knows his
minimum.
goals, right? He knows exactly what he's going after. And one of the things I like about you, Corey, is that since I think the day that we met you, right, you were in a mentorship, right? I think you were in
He was in
Justin
two.
Kobe's, and
He
you
was
were
in two.
you were looking at Boardroom at the time, right?
Yeah.
And since then, you have been in, you've been in different coaching programs, mentorship. So I know that's something that you truly believe in. So, so what are you doing now, and like, what has that done for you?
I'm in 2 masterminds now. No direct coaching, but we just got out of direct coaching not too long ago. You have to always continually educate yourself. In the beginning, do YouTube University, then start buying the courses or whatever, and then get a coach, get a mentor. You have to be around like-minded people who are playing a higher level than you and understand the failures you're about to go through.
Right.
Because you're about to go through a crap ton of failures, and you got to know why you failed. These guys know already.
Right.
They've been through it.
Right.
That's it. It's so key, man. And I can, name off a bunch of good mentors and masterminds, and that's how we met you guys, and it's just that's key, man. Obviously, do your due diligence when you're looking at a mentor or a mastermind, and figure out if that's going to be the right one.
What should they look for then?
If you're looking for a mentor, make sure he's doing deals.
Yeah.
Not just
Look
planning,
for HUDs.
not just planning to do your deals.
Right.
I mean, there's so
That's
many.
funny you said. He's trying to do your deals.
Right.
Yeah, make sure he's just not doing
There's
yours.
just so many horror stories you hear out there from people taking advantage of people. And in this business, man, it's a wild, wild west. Just do your due diligence. With masterminds, it's a little more easier. Just talk to a bunch of people. Say, hey, man, what are you guys benefiting? Ask the guy who's running the mastermind, can you recommend me a bunch of people I can call who's in the mastermind? That way I can find out what benefit they're getting out of it. And then they will. Yeah. And then you'll know the good masterminds, because they're pretty, in our industry, they're pretty famous, right?
Yeah.
We know, obviously like CG, Boardroom, and all these. So you'll know. Just do your due diligence, because you hear so many horror stories.
Right.
Oh my God, it's brutal.
Yeah. And I got to say, for you, from where you started, when we were sitting down the first time talking to you, I think you were maybe doing a deal or so, right?
Oh, yeah. When we first met, I think I was doing a deal a month.
Right. And, and you were on the job at the time and all that, right?
I was
And
doing blackjack.
yeah, but wasn't afraid to invest in your future and invest in your education. And that feel like that's just slingshot.
I'm afraid every day, bro.
Right.
I'm never comfortable.
Yeah.
My whole life, I live my whole life uncomfortable, because I'm always pushing. You have to be that way as an entrepreneur, and you have to be able to go out there and be able to take risk.
Yeah.
It's just, it's never been, there's never a day where it's like, oh, you're completely set, and you're like, no, it's the unknown is always there as an entrepreneur. Always.
Yeah,
So,
and you got to continue to push yourself, right?
Yep.
And if you get comfortable, that's when
if you get
things start
comfortable,
falling apart.
there's no growth there. Growth is in the uncomfortable space. I mean, I think Andy says that all the time.
Oh yeah. So what would you say that your biggest fear is about the business? Or
Losing, going bankrupt, of course, pushing too hard and going in the red too much, and then going under, of course. I mean, it's just always, and that's your fear when you first quit your job. It's like when you first quit your job, you're like, your fear is like, what if I can't eat next month?
Right.
It's that fear of loss.
Yeah.
I guess that's it, man. It's huge. And
look at all the skill sets you've got now. I mean, you could start back. Like if you started your business from scratch,
I could do it all over again.
you could do it all over again in a much shorter time.
Yep. And probably be better at it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And create a better business, as far as systems, processes, maybe even team members. Obviously, some of my team members are amazing, some are not so amazing. And I'd probably create a better one. If I'd start off from scratch, you know. Right. You've already been through the pain.
Yeah, and I noticed that. So I started reading Principles, And
Amazing
so,
book. I just got done with that book.
Yeah. So, and it's of course a Bible.
What an ass whooping, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like so thick.
book,
It's like the meat
it's a
in
Bible.
There.
Yeah. It is huge.
It took me, I don't know, maybe 4 months. Like, it was over a quarter.
It was 3 months. 3 months.
Yeah. But man,
But yeah,
it's
you start
good.
Yeah, you start looking at, like, I started like Googling some of the people that he was talking about who had failed, right? And they were billionaires and they were the richest people. But then when you go back and look at them, by the time they passed away, right? If they were still alive, they had made it back to the top.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
So just like you said, you know how to do it, right? If there is some failure, which is there's always going to be, if you push yourself hard enough, then there's going to be some failure at one point, right? Most of those people, the majority of them ended up getting back there anyway, right?
Yeah.
They just got back there faster the next time.
They lost.
You're not the same person that you were when we met. And not even close.
No.
Not even.
No.
Not
I want to
even
be,
close.
and I want to be a better version of myself year after year, right? I don't want to look back last year and be like, oh, it's the same. And that was the mistake I made so long working in the casino, or typical this is what 9-to-5ers do. They get comfortable and they're the same people. I want to always be better myself.
Right.
You know, mentally, physically, spiritually, and that, you know, business-wise too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an ever-going, ongoing quest.
Yeah. And so, as we wind down, I know that that's one of the things that you work on, morning routines and things like that.
My morning routine's key.
Right. So let's talk about that. So what is that done for? What do you do, and then what has it done for you?
I get up in the morning. First thing I do is meditate for 30 to 40 minutes. Then I go run 3.5, 4 miles. After I run, I come home. I do my affirmations. I write my gratitude journal. I pray. I make my protein shake. I take my supplements. Then I shower, so I get ready for work. So my morning routine consists of about 3 hours before even going to work. So I roll in the office about 9 o'clock, roughly, but I'm getting up at 6.
Right.
So I can have me time to focus and get my mindset right before I even go and try to make a buck.
Yeah.
And during that whole time, I'm not answering no phone. No, there's no text. And my phone's blowing up. It always blows up. I just leave it alone. And I focus on the morning routine. And then once I hit the office at 9 o'clock, then it's all on.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know it does something for you, because talking to Sylvester last night, he said that if there any reason that you got off of that morning routine, then you become the Hulk.
Yeah.
He walks in, he's like, I don't know if he says hi. He's like, all right, 10 minutes, let's do a dispo.
Yeah.
I was like, cool.
He can tell when I'm on track or not.
I can always tell, because I mean, you see a person every single day, and then like you go through so much of that person, and like you just know them. You know what I'm saying? You grow so much together, it seems like. But I think it's a really good balance, because he's really high strung, and I'm really laid back,
To say the least.
So like it's what I'm saying. So it's a perfect marriage, if in this business that we have here. So we have a lot of fun, but we've grown so much since day one. Like I had no idea about meditation, and I started that too, and it's just completely changed
And
my
I
life.
try to educate my whole team
Everyone's got
on what I'm doing that works for me, right? Because I want
Yeah.
them to benefit. Every Monday morning meeting, we have a 5-minute meditation at the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
And I just want them to try to get a little taste of what I'm doing. It makes me right in my head, right? Because I want these guys to be not only successful in business, but mind, body, and spirit too.
Right.
It's not just one piece.
So one thing we started doing that worked out really well, and I'll share this with you, is we started going through personal goals.
Okay.
Like we care about their personal lives every bit as much as their goals here at Drayco.
Right.
So we started helping them build out goals, and every quarter we're asking about it. Sporadically throughout the
love
quarter
that.
we're asking about it. How's that book going? What are you picking up next, et cetera? Because books were on all of our guys' lists.
Right. You working out in the mornings.
Yeah. How's the weight loss going? What's
Right.
et cetera, et cetera.
Accountability.
So just asking, keeping in touch, because I mean if they're happy in their personal lives, they're gonna
happy at
perform
work.
for us.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Happy at work.
It is a little bit selfish. I do care about all of our team, but it's definitely benefit to us as well.
Right.
Yeah.
It's counter. It's right.
Yeah.
For sure.
So last question. So if you were to go back and this is for like our new listeners that want to kind of fast forward some of this, right? If you go back and look at yourself when you got started in this business, what would you do different that would maybe speed up the process for you?
Front load heavily on telecommunication marketing and invest way more into sales education like a John Martinez program.
Mm-hmm.
I waited way too long to educate myself on how to be a closer.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I jumped right in doing a very expensive marketing, which is direct mail, which it's a great marketing channel, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
So telecommunications and learning how to be a better listener, I guess, because that's what a closer is a great listener.
Yeah.
Can you get people talking and listen?
Yeah. So that would be crucial when you first get in this business, because you're helping people, you're figuring out problems, you're a solution, you're a glorified transaction coordinator. This is what this business is. We're here to serve.
Right.
And learning that piece, because then when I first got in the business, I was just trying to make money.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, money's nice, don't get me wrong, but it's not the end goal of the business. I mean, it's not what you should, your mindset should be at. I guess. So that should be totally those two pieces. So marketing aspect, and then how to be a better listener.
Okay. And so same question to you, Sylvester. So what would you do? What would you change, right? If you could speed up the process, you can go talk to yourself in the past. What would you tell yourself you need to do to be better at Dispo, better at growing the business and that kind of thing?
Man, that's a really good question, especially coming from the Dispo side. I don't know if I would change anything per se from the Dispo side, just because like for us, we grew everything so organically, and like we went through a lot of things we had to go through to get to where we are, right?
Yeah, but
and
there's some advice that you have now that you
Right.
can give yourself when you started. That's what like it would be fail faster or go to the realtors first or the flippers first.
Yeah. If we were going to the realtors first, that would definitely, it would have stopped so much, because like anyone who called, you know what I'm saying, we're answering, sending people to showings, deals blowing up left and right. So I would say definitely going to the realtors first. That's helped us a ton in our business, I would say.
Okay, perfect. And so how do our listeners reach out to you guys?
Facebook.
Okay.
Hit me up on Facebook. Just look up Corey Geary, and you can message me on there. And I'm pretty, I check about once, maybe twice a day. So reach out to me there anytime, questions, whatever you got. So
there you go. And Sylvester?
And same here. I'm on Facebook, Sylvester Hagan, Hagan, Hagan. And same as Instagram. Shoot me a DM. You have any questions, Sylvester Hagan Jr., you know, I'm always on my phone, always available, no matter what time. Just hit us up, and you know we're happy to help.
And this guy can sell any deal.
I was like, you need a deal sold?
He can sell any
in Southwest, man, you call me.
He's amazing at talking to buyers.
You know, call me. You know, we'll get it done, and I'll walk you through everything we need to do to get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. And so again, I want to thank you guys for coming onto the show. Yeah. Right. Corey is our first person to be a repeat. Am I right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Man.
So that makes history now, right? So episode 15, I think we're at episode 50 right now. So we appreciate you for coming back in town.
Man, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
thank you
and
very
being
much.
in studio all the way from Phoenix.
I've learned and grown so much from you guys, just knowing you guys, and it's just that is totally right. Just knowing amazing people, and like you said, the mastermind thing, man, is how I really know you guys, and it's just, man, thank you.
All right.
I appreciate you guys.
Always
No
a pleasure.
problem.
For sure.
Yeah. And so, guys, we appreciate everyone for listening. Don't forget, if you like what you heard today, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave us a review, right? And if you have somebody else that really would need this kind of information, share it with them. We definitely appreciate that. With that, that's a wrap. Y'all come back now. You hit?